Welcome back guys to another video, and today we're taking a look at the Beastmen DLC for Total War Warhammer. There's actually also quite a big update in this as well for the game, which I'll explain here in a second, and you might be able to see it down here on these mounts, abilities, spells, and items tabs. But first of all, we'll take a look at some of these units that are added for the Beastmen faction, and then I will show you guys a battle, and then we'll take a look at the campaigns and have a little look at those to end the video. So let's go ahead and take a look at these first couple of lords here. You have a Beast Lord, which is a very cool looking unit here. 3,000 or so health. It's armored and a melee expert. You have the Corsiar the One Eye, I think that's how you say it. And it's armored and melee expert, a lot more health. And finally you have Malagor the Dark Omen, who is a spellcaster. Really cool looking guy, so we'll take him, and we'll take a look at these new abilities and stuff here at the bottom. So basically what this is, you can select what abilities you are going to take with you, and same with spells and also items. If you look at the spells tab, you can actually remove some of these and you can get money from actually removing them. So if you want a couple of extra gold to spend on your army, you don't really use magic too much, you can remove these. And as you see there, I got quite a bit of gold from just removing them, and that's enough to buy another maybe Ungor Spearman Herd or something. Same with the abilities as well. If you remove these, you get money as well. And these items here, which actually add some stuff to your hero or lord or whatever. So if you look at this, this is a item that you can use, and in game, what it will do, it will give 4 leadership, 8% weapon damage, and 8% armor piercing damage to the people in the range of 45 meters. So that's what basically these items do, and each one has a different item. As you see, this guy here, he has a whip. And this guy might also have a whip as well, I think. Oh no, he doesn't. He has the Horn of the First Beast, which is really cool. Actually, we'll take this guy and we'll take this horn, because I want to know if it makes a noise in game. And same with these, same with the legends. Oh, sorry, not the legends, the heroes. These guys can bring some of these stuff as well. I'm sure other people will make videos a bit more in detail of these, and you can always go read the wiki if you want to find out a bit more about the items and stuff. So let's go take a look at the infantry now. So the first infantry unit is the Ungor Spearman Herd. So we'll take one of those along with us. They are anti-large, and they have a charge defense against large foes. So these guys will be good for going up against maybe the greenskins, and because obviously they have giants and stuff like that, so that's what I'd recommend to bring along if you are facing up against some greenskins. You also have some Ungor Spearman Herd with shields, and these are shielded, anti-large, and charge defense against large foes. We'll take one of those. Some Ungor Herd, which is shielded, Vanguard Deployment, and Stalk. I'm not too sure what Stalk is, but I'm sure it's somewhere on the wiki. If you guys can find out what it is, be sure to tell me in the comments, because I'm very confused about what Stalk is, but it looks very cool. You also have the Gore Herd with shields, which are a shielded unit. You have Gore Herd with Vanguard Deployment, and the Beastie Gore Herd, which are armored and armor piercing. Really cool unit, these Beastie Gore, they are so cool. And the Beastmen actually have some missile infantry, which is interesting for an evil faction, because obviously the Chaos Warriors and Vampires don't have any sort of missile infantry like this. So these are the Ungor Raiders, and they have a Vanguard Deployment, Stalk, but have poor leadership. And this next part here, the Cavalry and Chariots, this is probably one of my favourite. I really love these Centaurs. You have some Centaurs here, and then the Centaurs with throwing axes, a really cool unit. And these guys are shielded, very fast, and also have Vanguard Deployment and stuff like that. And these throwing axes are armoured piercing, so that's pretty cool. Some Centaurs with great weapons, which are armoured piercing, very fast, Vanguard Deployment. And some Razorgore Chariot as well, so that's pretty cool. Razorgore Chariots even, and these are armored piercing, anti-infantry, and no forest penalties. These guys will just charge straight through the forest without slowing down. You got the monsters and beast tab here, and there are some Chaos Warhounds with poison, the Razorgore Herd, the Chaos Spawn, which are very cool looking in game. I'll show you them in a sec. The Minotaurs, and the Minotaurs with shields, and the Minotaurs with great weapons, pretty much all very similar. Some of them just obviously, this one here, the great weapons, they have armored piercing. And then finally the Giant, which is a bit disappointing because it's basically just a reskin of the greenskin Giant, which is a bit disappointing like I say, but it's still pretty good for this faction. And finally, one of my favourite units for this is the Cygor. This is literally just like a walking trebuchet. It has a range of 400, it just throws rocks and stuff, and you can also make it go into melee and do basically what a giant would do. So really cool units. And also with this update, I'm not sure if it's part of the DLC, I don't think it is, I think it's just with the update, you get a new hero for the Empire, and this guy's a spellcaster. He is the Amber Wizard. So let's go ahead and get into this battle, and I'll show you guys the units in game. Alright guys, so here we are in game. We'll go ahead and take a look at these new units, and starting on the right flank here, this is of course the Syndicals, are great weapons, so I'll let you guys have a little look at these in game. A very cool looking unit. They have like sort of nose rings as well in their noses and stuff, really cool. Very interesting looking. And next to them we have the Syndicals of throwing axes. As you can see, they are already carrying their throwing axes with them, and I believe they can do a couple of volleys with these until they run out, and then obviously you'll charge in with their spears. Look at their feet, really cool, weird looking kind of beasts. Over here we have the normal Syndicals, which are just the ones with spears and shields. Very small looking shields indeed, but shields nonetheless. And at the front here, we'll come back to these in a sec, but at the front you have these Gorherd with shields. Look at these guys. Really demonic looking. Next to them we have the Ungorherd. They kind of look, they remind me of Darth Maul with all the little horns in their heads. I don't know, maybe it's just me. Obviously they don't have red and black paint on their face, but I think the horns are pretty similar. And then these are the Ungorherd with shields. These are just your generic kind of spear infantry. Right at the front, obviously, we have the Gorball. Look at this guy. And also the Beast Lord. We also have these Ungor Spearmen Herd, which are the Spearman variant of those Ungor Spearmen. With the shields. On this far left flank, we have the Gorherd, which are these dual-wielding, really cool looking guys, and they look like they're going to deal a lot of damage. Behind them you have the Gorherd with great weapons, I think. Please be right. Oh no, these are the Beastie Gorherd, of course. Never mind. Wow, look at that guy's horns. Jeez. That guy is pretty scary. In the middle here we have these Ungor Raiders, which are the archers, of course. Some cool looking bows, and of course these guys have the really interesting looking feet. And here's the giant, the Beastman giant. Look at this guy, he's scratching his beard. He's like, who am I gonna eat first? Look at that guy, that is one hell of a stomach. Jeez. Okay, let's move on here. Look at that club. Over here we have the Minotaurs. This is the normal Minotaur unit. Interesting place to have that armor there, if you ask me, but whatever. I'm just so mature. You have the Minotaur shit with shields, and the Minotaurs are great weapons, which are these huge looking axes. Look at those. You wouldn't want one of those coming down onto you. I'm talking about the axes, by the way. You have the Chaos Spawn. Look at these guys. They are so disgusting. Their tongues flailing around. Look at them. They're like their own kind of... I don't even know what they are. I don't know how to describe them. I don't know. Over on the right here, you have the Cygors. I think they're Cygors. Yeah, the Cygors. And these guys will be throwing those big rocks. You see them carrying 400 meters that way. And we've already gone over these. At the back here, we have the Chaos Warhounds. And the Chaos Warhounds, which are the... other variant, the poison variant. They look really cool, kind of a neon green. You have the Razorgore Chariots, a very interesting looking unit. I really like the detail that's gone into these chariots as well. Very cool looking indeed. Same with the Razorgores, they look so cool. And then you have the Razorgore Herd, which is just obviously a herd of them, and that concludes all of his units. Obviously there's a couple more of these, what are these, the Beast Lords, and obviously there's another legend or hero, whatever it is. But let's go ahead and get into this battle and see how well they do. And like I say, these guys will be throwing these rocks super far, and for some reason the Empire's decided to deploy over there. So let's see if we can move up to about here. I'll be sure to speed up as well. So look how fast these guys actually are. These Centaurs, really cool unit. So let's actually move these guys up. See if we can get them into a bit of action here. We'll keep speeding this up. I'll show you what these throwing axe variants do. If I can find them. There we are. We'll go up to them and harass them a little bit with the throwing axes. But a very fast cavalry unit. I think the... I was about to say that maybe the Cygors are in range, but I guess not. Let's move up the Cygors a little bit here and see if we can get them to start taking a couple of throws at these spearmen and such. Imagine if you're the Empire right now. Like, how scary would that be, just looking across and seeing all those beastmen? Oh, looks like a bit of magic might be going off here in a sec. But let's get some volleys off here with these throwing axes, hopefully. Come on, lads. Get some throws. Get some throws, come on. There we go. Look at the frozen axes, oh my god. Hammering down onto these guys, and it actually looks like... Oh! Wow, that guy got absolutely wrecked. It looks like the thrown axe is getting stuck into them as well, which is really cool. And there was one of the rocks coming over from these Cygors over there. You'll see them throwing them here in a second. Here they come. Oh my god, here we go. Oh, Jesus. Let's get a cavalry charge here into the front of the Empire army. We'll also send forward our other units here ahead of these, so if we can get them stuck in against these spearmen. Here comes the charge in from the Centaurs. Oh, into the side. Very nice charge indeed. We have another one coming in. Let's send them into these. Jeez. They're the great weapons ones. Really cool. Okay, so let's actually back out our cavalry, because I don't want them to get all the glory here. We want to see some of these guys in action. We want to see these Minotaurs. Let's send them up against these spearmen. Also send over some chariots. Why not? Might as well get the chariots involved. Here we go. Honestly, all these axes do, they are huge. Oh, can't get over those Cygors, they're so cool. Alright, what are these? These are the Gore Herd. Let's charge them in against these spearmen here. There we go. Shields clashing. What are these? I think these are my Ungor Herd. Here we go. That was a bit disappointing. Let's send him a giant. He is pretty much just a reskin of the greenskin giant though, so there isn't really too much to say about that. Let's pull these guys back and we'll send these chariots in now. See what they do against these guys. Here we go. Oh my god. And they're still going. These Minotaurs still fighting on. Completely wrecking. I don't think I see a dead Minotaur anywhere. These guys are really good. Oh my god, that guy, he just flung him up. And I don't think we even need to use this other half of my army here. I'll show you. Actually, we need to play the horn. Where's the horn? There it is. Oh, it doesn't make a sound in game. That is disappointing. I was kind of hoping it would, but there we go. There is the battle with all these units here. We'll go and click end. Really fun DLC, at least for all these units. It's really good. And not only that, obviously, you get all the campaigns as well, which we'll take a look at here. You got the normal campaign, you got the normal grand campaign here, and you can select the Beastmen as a faction, and then the Eye for an Eye campaign, which I'm not sure how it varies or differs from the grand campaign, but I'm sure it does somehow. And I might actually make a video on it at some point in time, and maybe do a series on it, but I'm not too much of a big fan for the campaigns, but who knows, maybe I will with the Beastmen. They are pretty fun to play. It is really worth the money. You get so much for this. You get all these units. You get more units than Bretonia, which is, you know, a faction that's already in the game. So it is really worth the £12. Along with that, like I say, you get 4 maps and also the campaigns. So it is really, really good. And if you're not even going to buy it, make sure to update your game so you can check out these new tabs here and use them and use the new items and utilize them as much as possible, because it does work for all factions. It's not just for the Beastmen, as you can see. You can let's see what Leon Leoncoeur has. He has the Sword of Corone, I think so you say it. But there we go. So that is the Beastmen DLC. I personally would recommend buying it. It's really, really good. And I hope you guys enjoyed this little overview, and I will see you next time.